YouTubers. Pardon my appearance. I'm sick today. So I have my tea. Das Gesunde Plus. It's supposed to make me feel better. But tea just makes me feel better anyways. So today I'm going to talk about this book, Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. It's a Swedish book by Stieg Larsson. The book starts off kind of slow because it's really just introducing all of the players in the story. And so you don't really know what it has to do with each other yet, and so it's hard to make the connections. But if you stick with it, you'll see how they all come together, how they all affect the story. It's a really good story too. For suspense, and I don't mean like action movies suspense, a book can still be suspenseful in other ways. And as long as I was excited about what was going to happen and I wanted to know what was going to happen next, then it has suspense. And I love good vocabulary when authors use bigger words, or even if like sometimes words I might not know, then that gives me an opportunity to learn new words. This one definitely had good vocabulary choices, so that's one point there. It just has really good characters in it. This character called Lisbeth Salander, and she's just such a complex character. With some of the characters he gave like this background story to, but with her he didn't. And I'm glad he didn't, because it'd probably be too much to take in. It's like when you meet a person for the first time, you don't know everything about them all at once right when you meet them. Like a background check on that person, that would be weird. You just discover little things about them as time goes by, and that's sort of how we get to know Lisbeth Salander. After finishing this book, you still don't know a whole lot about her, which is cool because he has other books after this, so I'm sure you'll get to know more of her later. She's really different from most people, but yet you can still, I sort of connected with her. She might come off as sort of a rude person, immature, whatever at first, but then once, like I said, you start discovering these things about her, you realize that she's like that for a reason. She's very standoffish. She doesn't like to get personal, be personable. She's very private. She's not very sociable. And it's a mystery. Really good mystery. It was complicated, complex. It wasn't like one of those like totally absurd, almost Sherlock Holmes type mysteries where it tells you everything in the end and you just don't know until the big reveal. It's a mystery you can really follow along with. It has all the clues, and the people investigating the mystery aren't, superhuman, super smart, intelligent know-it-alls, and so they can make mistakes, and you sort of as you're reading it that they did make mistakes, or sometimes you don't know until later, and then you're like, oh, why didn't I catch that too? That's not the only thing this book is about. It's not just a mystery novel. It's got so much more in it. So this book digs into the dirt, I guess you would say. Not that you feel dirty reading it, not at all, but it's just really deals with some issues most people don't like to talk about or don't like to think about. But it's there in the story, and it's interesting to see how the different characters deal with it, like rape and others sexually abusing their children, or corporate corruption, or racism, or even That was my family. They're back home from church. We had lunch. It was yummy. Or take the issue of responsibility where, like in this instance, one of the villains in the book, he was a serial killer, and his father also was a serial killer and taught him how to be. And it sort of deals with the question of if you're brought up some way, or adult childhood or whatever, does that give you any choices in the future? Or can you blame someone for turning out wrong? Like one of the characters says, he says, talk about a dysfunctional family. Martin really didn't have a chance. I always look for redeeming qualities in either the characters or the conclusions made in the story. So it definitely gets a point for that. And then I have some negatives. Sex scenes or a lot of profanity. It's because I don't like those things too much. I don't like to read about those things. There definitely was a lot of sex in this book. They weren't very graphic, but still. And take away half of that. And then profanity or foul language. I just don't like to have that stuff in my head. I mean, I'm sure sometimes it's necessary. Felt a connection to Elizabeth Salander, and I was really getting into the story, and I was really excited about the progress she was making, because she has trouble connecting with people or being social with people. Like she can work with them, she can do business and do business, but on a social level, she never opens up. So when she starts making progress towards opening up a little bit more and revealing more of herself to her partner, I was really happy for her. She started realizing that the reason she was able to do this was because her partner treated her like a human being, and not a lot of people did that with her. During some of the parts about journalism and the corruption of some of those industries and him writing about that, it was a little irrelevant to me. I didn't really care too much about that part of the story. I also have a category for just the design of the book, and that includes like the title and the artwork and like the paper used and the fonts used, just because I'm an artist myself and I like that sort of stuff. So it definitely gets a point because I love the title, Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, and I liked the cover art, and the paper is thick. An author always leaves a little bit of himself in a book, the way he writes, and I definitely enjoyed reading this author, what he wrote. So that gives it a total of 8 points out of 10. Yeah, go out and read it.